You know how it goes. When something online is free, there's usually a catch, right? Well, today, we're going to dig into a really cool service called DistroSea. It offers something amazing for free, but we're going to peel back the layers of its privacy policy to see what the real price is.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever wanted to just test drive a bunch of different computer operating systems? I'm talking like over 80 of them, right from your web browser. No installs, no fuss. We're talking Linux, sure, but also super obscure stuff like Haiku or ReactOS. That is the incredible promise of DistroSea. It's basically a giant digital playground for anyone who loves tech.
Yeah, so that's DistroSea in a nutshell. It's this website where you can just boot up and mess around with a huge library of operating systems. You've got the big names like Ubuntu and Fedora, but also tons of others you've probably never even heard of. But, and this is a big but, to get access to all that cool stuff, you got to register. And that is exactly where their privacy policy becomes super important.
When you register, you're basically making a deal, right? An agreement. You get this awesome service, and in return, the service gets your personal data. Now, this is a super common model online. We see it everywhere. But it's always worth digging into the details. So what are you actually giving them?
Okay, so according to their own policy, when you create an account, you're handing over your email address, your first and last name, and something they call usage data. And you got to pay attention to that last one. Usage data is basically information about how you're using the service, which operating systems you're firing up, how long you're using them, all that good stuff.
All right, so you've given them this info. What happens next? I can tell you it doesn't just sit in a digital vault somewhere collecting dust. Nope. The company puts it to work for a bunch of different reasons, and it's all right there in their policy. So let's actually follow the journey your data takes.
Okay, so a few of these are pretty standard. Exactly what you'd expect. They need your data just to make the service work. To manage your account, send you critical updates. But then we get to the other stuff. They also use it to send you news and special offers, which, let's be real, is marketing. And they also analyze all that usage data we talked about to figure out how to make their service better.
But wait, there's more. It's not just about the information you actively type in. There's also a whole category of data that gets collected automatically, in the background. Like pretty much every website out there, DistroSea uses stuff like log files and cookies. Log files track your IP address and what browser you're using, and cookies are those little text files they stick on your computer. And this is where things start to get a little more interesting.
So their privacy policy actually points out a really important difference here. There are two kinds of cookies at play. On one hand, you've got the essential cookies that DistroSea itself uses just to make the website work properly. But then you've got the second type, third-party cookies. These come from partners like Google, and trust me, their purpose is totally different.
And this is a direct quote from their policy, which really spells it all out. It says, Google uses these advertising cookies to show you ads based on your visits not just to their site, but to other sites on the internet. Whoa. So what does that mean? It means they're tracking you across the web to build a profile on you, all so they can serve you personalized ads. This, right here, is how this free service actually makes its money.
And that's the key trade-off, isn't it? That's the whole game. You're not paying with your wallet, you're paying with your data and your attention. You get this incredibly cool, powerful tool for absolutely $0, and in return, you become the target audience for ads. I mean, that's the basic deal behind a massive chunk of the internet we use every day. Oh, and there are a few other quick things in the policy worth mentioning. First, the service is not for anyone under 13. Second, they can update these rules anytime they feel like it, so it's kind of on you to keep up. And here's the kicker. Just by using the website, you're automatically agreeing to all of this. Everything we just talked about. No signature required.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Look, DistroSea is an awesome tool, a really fantastic resource if you want to explore the world of operating systems. No one's denying that. But it's important to understand that this awesome tool is powered by a very clear transaction. You give them your personal info and your browsing data, and they use that to run the service, mostly by showing you ads.
And that really leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? For a service this powerful, what's the right balance between getting it for free and protecting your personal privacy? There's no right or wrong answer. For a lot of people, this trade-off is totally worth it to get their hands on a tool like this. But for others, maybe it's a step too far. The most important thing is that you know what the deal is before you sign up. It really makes you think, what's that balance for you?